Hi everyone, this is Sandhya here, and in today's live session, we are going to talk about the future career options and opportunities. Good morning, Dr. Pradhan. Thank you so much for joining.
Good
It
morning.
was kind of a Herculean task for us to basically get you online. Thank you so much. Friends, here is Dr. Gaurav Pradhan, and he doesn't need any introduction, but let me give you a little brief about him in case some of you are new. Dr. Gaurav Pradhan is an engineer and he's a visionary tech leader. He has 30 plus years of experience in corporate as well as in entrepreneurial area, and in India, South Africa, and in USA. He is a recipient of a prestigious Hind Ratna Award 2010 by Government of India. He was selected as one of the top visionary tech lead by Gartner and CSSA. Huffington Post has selected him as one of the top 10 influencer on the Twitter, and that was in 2015. He is an innovative and serial entrepreneur who has built successful ventures, and his current venture is estimated approximately USD 130 million. Welcome to the session, Dr. Pradhan.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope you are doing good.
We are. Thank you so much, and it's an honor to have you on this show. Let me start with our first question for the youngsters, especially the one who have, a little bit of a confused state of mind since they see so much information and so many new advices and the new technology, the fast changing business
Sorry, I
environment.
lost the audio.
All right. See, the question, on behalf of our the youngsters who are in the high school and who are planning for their career, and there's so much information available online, offline, and they are a little bit confused. So we would like to see if you can help them how to select the career, without going through some fancy career counseling options or any filtering those noise or in details around them. So what are the few tips you can give them?
Well, see, I can use my own example in my family. My son is in grade 12 right now. And we have adopted an approach not to impose a career on him. What we did was to find out his passion, what he want to do. Because see, generally what happens is in even in our age when we were kids, we had limited options of career, right?
That's
The
right.
career is what we want to do, what we want to be. The approaches today, the approach even in educated families and otherwise also, the approach is what you want to be, right? You want to be an engineer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a statistician, you want to be a data scientist or whatever. The approach should be what problem you want to solve.
I see.
The moment you choose, the moment you change the approach of your career, you always go and pick up the passion.
I see.
So my advice to the young kids is to pick up your passion, what you want to achieve in life, what problem you want to solve. So if you are passionate about programming and you like my son, he started with astronomy when he was in grade 7. So from astronomy, he went to astrophysicist and keep on evolving his career.
Correct.
Now, finally, his career, he want to be a data scientist.
Wow.
And probably we are among the rarest of the families in India where the passion is not IIT. So we are not imposing IIT. He doesn't want to appear for IIT. He want to appear for data science. So he is exploring colleges which are into data science. Now, understand, in India, you don't have a lot of data science colleges.
Right.
So he's exploring how do we pick up brick by brick. Because Sandhya, one thing which I'm sure you must be having international audience also.
Sure. Yes.
When I tell you one very important fact of our family is when my son was born, the first decision we took on the day he was born is that from grade 5 to grade 12 he will study in India.
I see.
Now, we were that time in US, and later when the time came for grade 5, we were in South Africa. So, and we were very well off. I mean, I used to be a damn rich guy out there, with all the kind of facilities, money I can buy anything, right? But my wife and my son shifted to India because the approach, what we want is that the schooling should be done in India. And then we gave the freedom to choose your career, whatever you want to be. And we never use the word career in our life. I mean, with our son, what we always use is the passion. So, my advice to the young lads out there is choose your passion, beta, because ultimately, if you choose a career, what you want to become, you may earn more money, no doubt about it, but you may not land up enjoying your life. So,
Understood.
enjoying your life is also very important. Once you choose
That's
your
right.
passion, your contribution would be honest to your passion. You would never get tired and stressed in your passion. And of course, how you build up your passion will depend how much money you at the end of the day you want to make.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
I mean, I remind people the film Three Idiot, where the kid was forced to do engineering, whereas he want to be a photographer. So if
Right.
your
Right.
passion is photographer, please go ahead. It's a huge career opportunity out there. We need professionals in all fields of life.
That's right. That's right. I have a follow-up question on this. Uh, when you mentioned that your wife and son shifted to India to pursue the studies after grade 5, uh, any reason or rationale behind that? I mean, and what has it created the impact on your son's life?
Well, the school education in India is very much more rigorous. When we talk about maths and science, we are more rigorous out here.
Right.
The South African education system is in such that, for the first 3 months, they will only teach you science. Then the science stops, and next 3 months, they will only teach you maths.
I
Then
see.
it stops, they will only teach you something else. By that time, you lost the
Absolutely.
science where you started.
Correct. Correct.
India may not have the best education system in a school. I completely agree with that. But it is one of the most rigorous education system. The schooling education, and because of that schooling, you have the best of the people, Indians working in best of the companies globally. So,
Understood.
when somebody accuse and abuse Indian education system, he forgets that because of that education system, we are leading the world today.
Agree. Agree. Totally. I think
So
that is one reason.
fundamental, your foundation need to be very strong. Only
Correct.
then you can build a castle over on it.
Understood. Yes, yes, agree, totally agree. In fact, my son is also studying in India after grade 7. He started for the grade 7. So I agree totally because I see that there is a difference between the international schools he studied earlier in Hong Kong and in India. As you correctly mentioned, the teaching is very rigorous. The learning is a very different approach, and the lot of hard work is there. So it builds. I hope it builds the base for him as well. Thank you. And this beyond this grade 12, many of these students, they prefer either to study in India. Some of them, as you mentioned, most of them prefer to go to IIT, or after IIT, they like to go to US, UK, Australia, or some renowned universities outside. So, what is your take on that, on the foreign education in general? What kind of a value actually it adds?
Well, once upon a time, the foreign education used to be very nice. When you talk about Harvard, you talk about MIT, you talk about Illinois,
Mm,
you talk about other colleges, Rutgers universities in
mm,
US and all those.
mm.
But over a period of time, the bridge has made.
Mhm.
Indian education is as good as any American education
I see.
when you talk about the higher education, right?
Mhm.
In fact, in certain cases, I find Indian education much, much better. It
Mhm.
is only when you talk about the MTech and research projects
Mhm.
where the American systems works better than India because they have a lot of investment on research. In
Mhm.
India, still we don't have investment on research
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
undergraduate degrees. I mean,
Mhm.
getting a degree from Australia, New
Mhm.
Zealand, and all these places,
Mhm.
it has actually no value in India, to
I
be
see.
honest. Indian
Mhm.
education is lot better than, I mean, even the private universities in India is much, much better than American or anybody else, or at par at least with them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Where
Mhm.
it matters, if somebody want to go to America, UK, or some other places for education,
Mhm.
for undergraduate degree or higher degrees,
Mhm.
my suggestion is only go on a scholarship.
I see.
Because
And
if you go on a scholarship, then
mm,
rest assured, first thing, that the university is really good, right? Because the private universities don't give you 100% scholarship.
mm,
So,
mm,
if you are going on a scholarship to MIT, Harvard, Illinois, Rutgers, and all these, then it's perfectly fine. If you can afford, it's also fine.
mm,
But to be very balanced, I think Indian education is no different today than
mhm,
international education.
mm,
Second, the most important factor which people don't understand is
mm,
that your degree
mm.
only helps you to get a job or a career in
Mm.
the first two switch.
Correct.
Your
Entry
first
level.
job and your second job.
Mm, mm,
When you go for a third job, so first 5 years the degree
mhm.
matters.
Right.
After 5 years, what matter is
Mm.
the what you have done to the companies or the corporates or to
Correct.
your enterprise.
Mm,
And this is true for not just for any overseas foreign degrees, but
mm.
also the Indian degrees.
Understood.
I have seen people, a lot of senior people, 50, 40, 55-year old,
Mm,
in their social media bio, they write IIT Kanpur, IIM Ahmedabad, right?
mm, mm,
And I
mm,
simply ask them one very important question, that
mm,
after 30, 40 years of our career,
mm.
if you still have to sell your degree, that means you haven't done anything in your career.
Understood.
Right.
Yes, yes, yes.
So my advice to the kids would be, better focus on your
Mm,
local education more,
mm,
because an engineering degree, if you take from India, or a doctorate degree, or a chartered accountancy, or anything in accounts or whatever,
mm,
it is at par with any American or anybody, any other colleges across.
mm,
The
mm.
most important thing is the status symbol people go for. Right.
Yes.
That status symbol works only for the first two jobs,
Mm,
or probably if you are going for your to take over your father's business,
mm, mm, mm,
maybe then it is fine.
mm,
But if
mm,
you really want to be passionate in your career, and if you are really a path-breaking person,
mm,
don't go for foreign degrees. India's
mm.
is more than enough for any education.
Understood. Oh, that's a very valuable advice, actually. It's because once upon a time, even I went to US, following that, the glitter and all to
Could have
start some
I could
kind
have
of.
gone for my
Mm,
I could have gone for my postgraduate to US, right?
mm,
But I
mm.
never went for it because my post graduation from India was far better. The
I
only
see.
thing which I went for US is my PhD, right?
Mm,
And
mm, mm,
that has really paved a good way, because there was a lot of research budget, there was a lot of understanding,
mm.
and circumstances were such that I was based out of US at that point of time, so it wasn't possible for me to do a degree in India. I did
Correct.
a degree from the college which was across my road, right?
Mm, mm, mm,
So the best thing is look for look, maintain a balance. Don't. The first thing is the thumb rule is go for your passion, right? Second, go for the real education. Don't go for the namesake. Don't go for the brand, because at the end of the day, you should become a brand rather than the degree carrying you as a brand for the rest of their life.
Understood.
Don't ride the chariot of your degree. You become a chariot. You become
Understood.
a brand name.
Right.
I mean, if you pick up any big brand name in this world, how many people remember which degrees they have done?
Correct. Correct. Very almost none. None maybe.
So don't go for fancy names. Don't go for the brand image. Go for the real education, which can add value to your passion. That's more important.
Understood. So now in this, it's with such a valuable advice. Next question, I would like to focus on this. There are again, this is related to the first the question we had talked about the selecting the career or selecting the passion, but still we had to balance somewhere what is your passion and what will be in the demand. So, or something which we want to ensure that there is a bread and butter, and as well as there is it matches with our passion. So, if we want to list some of the promising future careers, what are the few we can basically list, or we can talk about? So, if somebody has a passion in those, they can align their passion with those careers.
Well, see, it is very important to understand one thing, that there is always a space for somebody in any career, right? If you want to be a photographer, there is always a space for a photographer. If you want to be a cook, there is always a space to be, a hotelier or a cook or a chef. Uh, so it all depends how you create. Because I understand every career opportunity had to be met with an innovation, right? If you are monotonous, if you just do something and want to do a job, then I agree you will struggle for rest of your life. But and then there you have to choose, because you are not choosing a career, you are choosing a job. And when you choose a job, the stress is natural in that job, right? So choose your career, and whatever your career is, there is always a space. So it would be it. I won't be able to say that this is good or that is bad, right? But when it comes to myself, I mean my family, because of I'm an engineer, my wife is an engineer, my son obviously lived in an environment of technology and technology discussion, because we all are technical people. So my father is also an engineer. So having said that, the interest of my son has literally gone toward the science subjects. Right now, he is picking up data science.
I
Right,
see.
that's what his passion is. Today, if you really, so when you talk about computers, I mean, I can really tell you that the future is all about artificial intelligence, data science, and machine learning, and all those things, right? But again, these are not the separate components. They are all linked toward, because without a data science, without being a data scientist, you won't be able to pump data for the artificial intelligence. Artificial
Right.
intelligence is all about data, right? The purest form of
Yes.
data, if you give, it works better there. So they are all linked to each other. If you want to be in computer science field, yes, artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, data science are good options for the future. Now, many people, while choosing their career, or the parents when they choose their career, because in India, the parents choose their career of their kids. Right. I mean, when a child is born, the father says, "Oh, घर में एक engineer आया," because the father is an engineer. If the
Right.
father is doctor, they will say, "Oh, I got a cardiologist in my house. I will train him to cardiologist."
And
The attorney will say, "I got a lawyer in my house," right? So the career in the job, I don't use the word career here. I specifically use the word job. The word job is put in the mind of the child the day
Mm.
he is born.
Understood.
So when you choose your career, what you are talking about potential. Now, if you choose the film as a career, let's say
Mm.
film direction is your what you want to be.
Mm. Mm.
Now, because of the COVID, the opportunity is that the web series are picking up.
Correct. Correct.
So the technology has advanced so much that you don't need a multi-million-dollar camera to shoot a film. Today,
Mm.
you can shoot a film and it can go blockbuster just by your iPhone or any other phone or
Correct.
a small camera, right?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So the opportunities are created.
Mm.
So
Mm.
once the opportunities are created, how you cash on those opportunities literally define. That is why I said that
Mm.
innovation is mandatory in no matter what career option you choose.
Mm. 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 Understood.
That innovation need to be there.
I That's a good point. Great. Now, in there, this is a question for the existing professionals. Now, the existing professionals who are already working and they have already started their career in their respective fields, but some of them have this what we call the question about how to accelerate in their existing career. We usually we tend to say, okay, acquire the new knowledge, new skill. These are the things these are the traditional ways of basically accelerating the career. But what are the new things we can new or innovative ways we can help these professionals to accelerate their career?
See, those days are gone when you study, you take up a job or a career, and you think you don't have to go to school again. You don't have to study
Yes.
anything more.
Mm.
You are qualified enough for
Mm.
rest of your life.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Today, you have to study virtually every day.
Correct.
A routine should be there that every day at least spend 1 hour 2 hour in your studies
Mm.
of whatever the career you are doing. I mean, when I say studies, I am not saying that a skill should not be learned. That should be learned,
Mm.
but more than a skill, 1 hour every day you have to spend and figure it out. What are the innovations required in your career, how you can make your job or your work or your business better. What are
Mm.
the innovative things? That's
Mm.
point number one.
Mm.
Point number two, which I practiced myself about 15 20 years back,
Mhm.
is and it happened accidentally because I never had a guru to teach me. I mean,
Mhm. Mm.
I was traveling the world, and social media was when social media was born. I
Mm.
was from day one on social media and studying and watching and reading.
Mm.
What I figured it out, when you are into your undergraduate, and today, I mean, if you have
Mm.
done your undergraduate, it's perfectly fine. And if you are in undergraduate, let's say if you are doing your engineering,
Mhm.
from the third year onward, make a practice, make a 4 year plan,
Mhm.
right? And in this 4 year, study Ramayana, Gita,
Mm.
Kautilya Arthashastra, and Chanakyaniti, and you
Mhm.
don't have to read it. I
Mm.
mean, many people ask me the publication, and I don't have publication.
Mhm.
These are all sculptures available free of cost as PDF, right, on
Yes.
internet.
Yes. Mm.
Download them, and I am saying very specifically, don't read them. You have to study them. The chronology should be Ramayana, Gita, uh, Chanakniti, and then Kautilya Arthashastra. That
Mhm.
is the chronology you have to follow. So
Mm.
if you pick up Ramayana,
Mm.
right, spend 1 year studying it
I see.
and see the difference. I'm not saying reading it, I'm saying
Mhm.
studying it.
Mhm.
So every page you study today,
Mm.
uh, you need to practice that. You need to understand it in and out, because there is
Mhm.
and don't read it as Hindu books or something like that.
Understood.
Forget the religion here. Forget the
Mm.
religion here,
Mm.
because Ramayana teaches you how to build your character.
That's right. Mhm.
Gita tells you how to build your karma. What
Correct.
karma you have to do.
Mm.
Chanak Niti tells you how to deal with situations and problems in your life. That could be your professional, that could be your personal, that could be your relationships, whatever it is. And Kautilya Arthashastra teaches you how to manage your finance.
I see.
And
That's
these are the four pillars of a successful life for any individual. So enhance your career, not just so today. Let's say if you are a Python programmer or you're an artificial intelligence Greek, your next book should not be data science if you have already studied it. I mean, as I said, 1 hour every day, you have to invest time to see how you innovate. But you have to pick up these books and you have to study wherever you are. It is all available on internet in PDF format, free of cost. Just pull it down and read it every day.
understood.
Right? And study, that's more important. I challenge anybody on this planet that after 5 years of doing this exercise, you would be a far better person because, you know, let's say I'm an engineer. I'm an artificial intelligence professional. Today I'm a consultant. Tomorrow I'll become a senior consultant. Then I'll become a project manager, a project lead. Maybe one day I will become a vice president
Correct.
because I'm leading the practice of artificial intelligence in my company or data science in my company, whatever the field is, right? But what it takes for me to become a CEO of that company.
Yes, yes. That's the what is I think
Right.
everybody wants
So,
that.
CEO of that company is not just about my command on artificial intelligence or data science or chosen line of technology or business or profession, whatever. It
That's right.
has something else which is called a X factor. The S factor is your character, your karma, your finance knowledge, and the most important about it is how you deal with relationship.
That's right.
See, the CEO of a company is not about technology. The CEO of that company is not about how is somebody is functioning. The CEO of that company is about how he maintain the relationship. He is the master of the orchestra who has
Understood.
to face his back toward the audience to ensure that orchestra works. Right.
Understood.
So that time he doesn't have to worry about what audience is thinking or watching or what they are doing. He has to watch his orchestra. And to watch the orchestra, the most important thing is who will do what at what time. That is where the people relationship comes in. So how you assign work, how you complete work, how you manage the projects, these political questions come into the picture.
Understood.
And the next one is how he managed the company finance.
Yes, that's the biggest
Right.
question.
The smartest CEO is the one which manage the company finance and ensure that because politics is not about just the typical political parties kind of, right.
Understood.
Politics is also defined as a field, political science as a field, how to bring people together with diverse ideology and philosophy and thinking process, how to bring them on the same platform and get the job done. So the four books which I suggested, if you are 25 today or 30 today and you give 5 years to it, 100% sure that you would be a CEO by 45 or latest by 50. Because I became vice president when I was for an Indian corporate in America when I was 30, uh,
That's
31, I guess. And I was the director running the entire Africa when I was 35. Right. And I became I didn't took the title of my CEO of my company because that I always reserve for a woman, which happens to be my wife now. But my title is always the CIO. But ultimately, I run everything in the organization. So, and these books have literally helped me to life. I mean, If you see my social media post on Facebook and otherwise
Yes.
also, there are politically so many situations when people start agitating, they start questioning the leadership, they start shouting and jumping. I'm one person who is always cool, because I draw the inspiration and result from Gita or Ramayana or Kautilya Arthashastra or somewhere from there. And with blessing of God, I have never been wrong in my assumption.
Yes.
So
I've been
these are
following
the,
you. I've
yeah,
seen.
these are the very
Mm,
important
mm,
attributes one had to add to the career. The college degree, the professional degree is not enough. There
mm,
is the X factor is very important if you literally want to grow your career and just
mm,
don't want to wind up everything in your life as a consultant. You want to be a CEO, you're ambitious. These are the ones.
mm. Agree, agree. This is extremely valuable, and this is something very new to most of us. Learn. I mean, Gita is been now getting popularized, but talking about all four together, especially the Ramayana for character building, is something very valuable advice for everyone. I remember one part is. When I was reading the Shivaji Maharaj, his mother, Jizabai, she has given him two types of training. One was warfare, and with the Dadoji Kondev. Other one was about teaching the all these Ramayana, Mahabharat, Puranas, and uh, the other part. So I think now I can recollect how what you are talking, building the you call personality and leadership has a lot of connections there. Okay, the next question I have is about what are the key the advice you would like to give in if somebody wants to choose the creative field, although we have mentioned about photography earlier, but in case if somebody wants to select a creative field, how the technology can help. Spoke about the web series and the technology like a camera editing and all, but anything else, like how they can basically accelerate the career, because technology is going to touch every part of our life in the future. But if there is anything you could advise.
There are two
Hmm,
ways of looking technology when you are in creative field.
hmm,
One way of looking at technology is the technical solutions or programs or applications what you have,
hmm,
which can help you build a better solution to your
hmm,
creative.
hmm,
Like, say, for example, if you are a fashion designer,
hmm,
and I have developed, and there are many apps available, where
hmm,
you can draw the garment
hmm,
and the design of the garment and even the prints on the garment, and you
hmm,
can work in a virtual world
hmm,
using artificial intelligence and otherwise
hmm,
you can see in a virtual world, right?
hmm,
3D
hmm,
modeling and all those.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
That's one part where you can use it.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
The second part is
hmm,
telling your creative work to the rest of the world. So
hmm,
there you have your social media is there, your websites are there, your other PDF versions, documents are there, and there is a host of applications which can be used
hmm,
to to push your work to the masses and to
hmm,
to see them. Let's say,
hmm,
for example, I give you example.
hmm,
I'm an actor, right?
hmm,
And I have, let's say, 10 million followers on Instagram,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
Now, there is another actor of the
hmm,
same potential,
hmm,
but he has 1 million followers on Instagram.
hmm, hmm,
Now, as a filmmaker,
hmm.
what would be my choice? To pick up the 10 million Instagram fellow or 1 million
I
when both
understand.
are at par? I'll pick
Correct.
up the 10 million because the 10 million guy
Hmm,
will give me 10 times more publicity of my work, of
hmm,
my
hmm,
film,
hmm,
than the 1 million guy,
hmm, hmm, hmm.
right?
Understand. Hmm,
Now, I again take back to my family. In my extended family, I have I call him my son. I treat him as my son also. He is a fine art student. Now, he was good in maths, he was good in science, no doubt about that. But his chosen field or passion was fine arts, sketching.
I see.
So now he do professional sketching and building the 3D models and all those. Now he use a host of application softwares to draw the picture.
I see.
I mean, you can use crayons, you can use pencil work, you can use black and white pencil work, but it is all software built.
Oh,
So you don't actually have to go and buy the physical pencil or the crayons or the colors. You can use whatever you want uh, on the software.
I see.
Now, there he uses the technology, and he want to, because his passion is not maths and science but sketch and all these things. He is going for a undergraduate degree in fine arts. I think NID and all those institutes. There are only bunch of institutes in India which do that, and he is aiming for that. So technology, there are two ways of using. One, which makes your which makes your work become easy. Second approach of technology is how to tell the world what you are doing.
Yes.
And you can use host of web social media apps or social media applications to ensure that your work is sold out.
Correct, correct, correct.
Today, I mean, if you're a painter, let's say, for example, if you're a painter, right, and it is very expensive to get an art gallery to display your work, today
Yes,
you
yes.
can do in your virtual world. And you don't have an audience. If you go for an art gallery, your audience is limit. Let's say if I go in Delhi, my audience is limited in Delhi,
Correct, correct.
right? Unless and until I am some very big top shot guy, who
Yes,
takes
yes.
$1 million just to put a stroke on a canvas.
Mm-hmm.
If you am a growing painter, I host a virtual painting, a gallery, and that gallery is visible across the world. And I can use the social media people to use social media to tell the world that this is my gallery and this is what exhibition I'm holding right now.
I see. Very
People can
innovative.
select my painting from there. They can pay me through virtual network, through online payment, and I can pack that painting and courier it to him. Simple.
I see. Is there any way, I mean, like example, like A.R. Rahman, he blended the music using technology. So is there any way the blending with the technology can happen in other field in terms of like a fashion or painting, other arts like a dance or some other forms? What is your idea?
This is already happening. The blending of
At least.
technology and the core skills are already happening. However, on the music side, I don't like technical music, right? Because
I see.
today, if you see the music world today, 99% is technical music,
I
right?
see.
The literal joy of guitar, the literal joy of sitar, the tablas, the harmoniums, the pianos are not there. It
The
is all
classic.
engineered. It is all technology engineered music. So you don't activate your senses today the way you used to activate when we were young kids and listening to
Yes, yes.
Lakshmikant Pyarelal music. Even today, when I sit, relax, in my own time, I put some music, pick up a glass, my drink, and literally enjoy that 1 or 2 hours. But as I said, initially when I told you that every day you have to spend an hour, whatever field you are, to see what innovation you can build up. This is the answer to your question currently.
I see.
That
Yes.
I'm not saying that there are no solutions. There are definitely solutions. But if there are no solution, it is not a big deal for you to design a solution and build it up.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, If you take the example of Sushant Singh Rajput, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was an engineer, he was an actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was his work. He could have stopped everything more than acting. I mean, I do acting, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But he every day innovates, used to innovate. He was
Mm-hmm.
working on technical solutions,
Yes.
right? Related to his field and off his field also. So who
Mm-hmm.
is stopping your mind? Don't stop your mind. That is what I'm telling. From
Mm-hmm.
from your first question till now, that is what I'm telling. When you are a kid, when
Mm-hmm.
your kids grow up, when he is in fifth grade,
Mm-hmm.
please leave him. Please let him explore the life.
I see.
You know,
Thinking hat. Huh.
I would like to add a very important point here, especially
Mm-hmm.
for the young parents.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me, I mean, about my son. And I always say the only thing I did only three, four things in life.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, there was no discipline at home
Mm-hmm.
till my kid was 5 year old. So
Mm-hmm.
do whatever you want, throw whatever you want, break whatever you want. I don't care. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And after 5 years, I started putting discipline or with logic. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have to do namaste, why you have to do namaste? If you
Nice.
have to touch the feet, why you have to touch the feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second thing which I did for my son was when he was 5 year old, I handed over him a guitar
Oh, okay.
because music is more very important in life. It is not about song and dance and running around bushes, but it is, if you see all the great innovators and inventors in the world and scientists, they have um a side which is musical in. They have music in their life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't play any instrument in my life, which I always wanted to because of various factors. Right. I made a point that I give my son a guitar and I ensure that
Mm-hmm.
he learns guitar properly. Today he plays electric guitar and all kind of guitars, and he's brilliant out there as well as he's brilliant in his studies. And since grade 1 till now in grade 12, he is a scholar through and throughout. He was the 0.1% student in class 10th in CBSE in India. I mean, among
Mm-hmm.
the 10 toppers in India. So,
Mm-hmm.
and trust me, in my home, there is no fight on studies.
Wow.
The
This is an achievement,
365,
I must say. As a parent, it is extremely difficult.
the
Oh, yeah.
365
It is.
days in my home passes as normal. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you will not believe when my son was in 10th board,
Mm-hmm.
my son and my wife went to watch a film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch films, but they went to watch a film.
Mm-hmm.
So 365 days in my house is same. There is a regular 2 3 hours of studies. There is regular, you have to play your guitar, your regular. Uh, the only thing which my home do is we don't watch TV.
I see.
So absolutely, absolutely, absolutely zero TV for in my house.
That's a big
There is
thing.
no TV, right?
Yeah. Nowadays, many kids are getting addicted to these video games, online games. So
Sandhya,
that
you will
becomes
not
also.
believe. I'm amazed to see very young videos of 3 year old, 4 year old.
Mm.
They copy from TV so much,
Yes, yes, they
and
do. They do.
and
And mm,
unfortunately the parents always want a shortcut, so rather
yes,
than spending time with their kid, they hand over a TV remote to them or they hand over a mobile to them.
yes, that's surprising. And then we want them to get rid of the addiction. It is very difficult when they are
Now
small, like
what
a two,
i
3 year old. Huh?
what I did with my son is
Hmm.
I have never given him a gun as a toy
I see. Yes.
till date. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of guns.
Mm-hmm.
I do live firing of guns for various reasons,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I have never given a gun to my son in his life.
Mm-hmm. How did you?
What I started giving him when
Mm-hmm.
he was 3 year old was those plastic blocks.
Okay. So he
So
could.
those you put on each other, and you make some item.
Some, right, right,
The
right.
the As he grew older,
Hmm.
the size of the block reduces.
I see. Understood.
So I started with a square inch block,
Hmm.
then we went on Lego, and slowly, the size of the Lego blocks started reducing. It went to robotics and all. I
I see.
have two big drums at my home,
Hmm.
which are full of Lego.
Oh,
The
okay.
only toy I have given to my son is a Lego.
Interesting.
So
Hmm.
why I have done it? Because
Hmm.
that develops the analytical skill, the
Hmm.
reasoning skill, the
Hmm.
creativity, the innovation it brings in.
Hmm. Hmm.
But we
I,
as parents today find
hmm.
a shortcut. We hand
Hmm.
over a TV or remote, or we
Hmm.
hand over a mobile, which kills the childhood, which kills the innovation, which kills
Hmm.
the thinking process, and it takes you to altogether to a different planet.
Understood. Yes, yes, yes. Totally agree. Totally agree. So now, I think we have already covered the last question, which is the what role the technology will play in every field. I think this has been a very wonderful session. Especially, we touched with almost all aspects of the career, starting from passion, and consistently we talked about wearing the thinking hat. That has been a big message. And on this point, anything you would like to say to conclude our session?
I think
Hmm.
the life is not about race.
Yes.
It is about building your own brand and contributing to the society. My
Hmm.
request to people is, see, when you are a child, you are grew up, right,
Hmm.
with the help of your parents. Then come your karma life, where you
Hmm.
do work for yourself, your family, which
Hmm.
most important. But
Hmm.
at a certain stage of life, you start giving back to the society which has
Hmm.
built you, and that giving back should be selfless. I
Agree.
mean, we are connected for a very long time, I guess,
Hmm.
and you
Yes.
have watched me on Twitter as well as on Facebook and other.
Hmm. Hmm.
I have never asked anything in return from anyone. I mean,
I,
I don't ask people to follow me. I
hmm.
don't ask people to promote me. I don't ask money to give me. I don't ask because there is a private life which I have. I mean,
Hmm.
I run company. I run innovation. I do many things,
Hmm.
right, which keeps me blocked, and I don't have to tell everything to everyone. Right.
That's right.
But there
Hmm.
are ways I can give back to the society. Politically, I am giving back to the society whatever best. I
Hmm.
train entrepreneurs. I never ask money from them for
Hmm.
training. I do my sessions across the country in schools, colleges,
Hmm.
corporates, free of cost.
Hmm.
Yes, wherever there is a privatization and commercialization of my work,
Hmm.
I do take money because
Understood.
that
Hmm.
is I deserve to take my
Hmm.
fee. But
Understood.
where it is not commercialization,
Hmm.
that means when I go to college, now that
Hmm.
is not a commercialization, right? When I
Hmm.
go to army institutes like that, it is
Hmm.
not commercialization. So I don't charge money, and
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
is done at free of cost. So develop a life always to give back to your society, because that will build your brand.
Yes.
Your focus
Agree.
should be
Hmm.
always to build your brand, and the
Hmm.
one of the thing on brand is that stay what you believe in, right?
Agreed.
uh,
Agreed. Totally agree.
Enhance your knowledge every day, read
Hmm.
every day. It could be
Hmm.
anything. I mean, I am a kind of a guy who can discuss anything from sex to satellite,
Hmm.
trust me.
Hmm.
So you have to develop that knowledge, and that knowledge, don't go for information. Now I have
Hmm.
seen a lot of people, they run and chase for books. Whenever a bureaucrat launches book, or a journalist put his book, bring his book into the market, they chase like
Hmm.
anything, right? And they
Agreed.
spend money on it and buy it. For me, these are useless books, to be honest, because these books only talks about an information, an event which has already happened,
Hmm.
uh, like say for example, a ex-bureaucrat who's a politician put a book, right? Now that book always talks about his what he has done or what information he can. It is a retirement planning, actually.
Correct.
It's a pension fund out of your pocket. If you literally want to study, then study, go back in Vedas, study Vedas, and trust me, these are not something you can study in a day or two or a month. You
It's a
have to
lifetime.
spend your years. If you really want to study and enhance your knowledge, go learn Sanskrit so that you can understand Vedas and other sculptures better. And why Vedas? Go learn Guru Granth Sahib, open a Quran, read a Bible. Because unless and until you read all of them, how you are going to understand the difference?
Yes, agree.
Right. So there are two things: you want information in your life, or you want knowledge in your life. And information has a age. A
That's
knowledge doesn't have a age. Right. So information has a shelf life.
that's right.
A knowledge doesn't have a shelf life. Chanakya Niti was written hundreds of years back. Ramayana was written thousands of years back. It is still as relevant as
And
any other thing today.
that's
But a
right.
book written by a journalist or a politician or a bureaucrat doesn't have a shelf life more than 6 months.
Agree, agree.
So, what do you want to chase in your life? Knowledge or information? That is what you have to decide.
Understood. That's a very valuable advice and recommendation. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have this session with you. And best wishes, Dr. Gaurav
Thank you
Pradhan.
very much, Sandhya. Thanks
Thank
a
you
very much.
again. Thank you.
Enjoy. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.